Okay, so our aims and objectives for today, we're going to label the cross-section of the hair, and then we're going to discuss each of the parts in that cross-section of the hair. So we've got a diagram of the cross-section, and basically it's a strand of hair and we've pulled it right out so we can label every part of the section going in the hair. We're going to discuss each one of them and look up how each one of them parts are formed. Then we're going to discuss the alpha helix and its uses. So we know that the alpha helix is buried right within our cross-section of our hair. We're going to find out why it's right in the middle, why it's buried away, and what it actually contains and how it affects us as stylists. And then you're going to be able to show the effects that heat has on the bonds of our hair. So we know that we've got temporary bonds, your salt bonds and hydrogen bonds, but we're going to show actually what that hairdryer, what the tongs and all them electrical appliances, how they affect the bonds of our hair. So I've got an experiment for you to do. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we're just going to look back at the objectives that we set this morning and just check that we all know that how we've met them. So we're going to label at the cross section of the hair and discuss the parts. You should all have your label diagrams, yeah? And then we looked at the parts, so we've labelled them, looked at all the macrofibrils, the microfibrils, and how they all work together to form the cross-section of the hair. Okay, we discussed the alpha helix and its uses, so we looked at how it's buried right in the middle, and the reason that it's right in the middle is because it contains them important polypeptide chains and the main strength of your hair, and that all of them fibrils are there to protect it. So you should all have that wrote up, and also your GATT handout we've completed that goes along with it, okay? And then you were to show the effects that heat has on the bonds of our hair, so then we've done our Play-Doh experiments. So you should all have your alpha keratin Play-Doh piece and your beta keratin Play-Doh piece, and we know that by using the heat from our hands, that changed them Play-Doh shapes the same as it would with your hair. So the heat of them products changes the format and the shape. Okay, so what you need to do now is keep on reading this ready for next week, so that when we look into it again, we do the recap, it's fresh in your minds. I think it's important to do aims and objectives at the beginning of the session because it gives the learners an appetizer of what's about to happen in the session, and also it tells them what they're going to learn and how they're going to learn it, so they know what that plan is for the day. And then I think it's important that you revisit them aims and objectives because it makes sure that the learners can see where they've come from. It can also be used as a recap, so how they've achieved each of them aims and objectives. And you can also use it as a bridge across to the next week's session so we know what's next to come.